So, quick review. Which is better? Uh, Not better, but greater, larger, -7 or +7? Remember, you can think about it a few ways. Number line, which is farther this way? That'll give you the greater number. You can think about it in terms of money. What's better? Is it better to open up your birthday card and see $7 plus $7 in there? Or, like, that's not great, but still. Or is it better to open up a card and see that someone's written you a note saying you owe me $7 for this card because I didn't even want to come? Obviously, +7 is a greater thing. You can also think of it in terms of like money coming in that you've earned, that's +7, and bills, money you have to pay, that's -7. So whatever helps you to sort that out is fine. But it's important that you can sort out the greatest from the least and put them in order from greatest to least. And now that you've had a chance to kind of tinker and look at what these numbers look like when we use tiles to start looking at how we might put adding and subtracting on a page with tiles. Adding is pretty straightforward. So let's look at +6 plus -3. First, we just have to represent these numbers as easy as we can. So let's put that one there first. +6. 6 positives. -3. It's going to go here. Boo boo. Now, what do we have here? We have some 0 pairs. We have some that cancel each other out. 1, 2, 3. And what do we have left after we've added everything together? We have 3 of those left over. That's how many we have when we've considered all our 0 pairs. So our answer is going to be +3. Now, you might jump to the conclusion right away that adding a negative seems a lot like subtracting, and it does. But again, you don't need to be there yet. The main thing is, can you make this picture and can you piece it together? So let's look at another one. -7 plus -3. That one itself is going to look the same. We just represent these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's -7. Then I add -3 more. So that came from here. This came from there. Now, how many 0 pairs do I have? Well, I don't have any because there's no circles, nothing cancels each other out. So now that all the 0 pairs have been considered, how many do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So when I look in this area, all I have is x's, so I count them all. That's -10 when I've counted them all. So this will help some of you with adding and subtracting these integers. But again, adding was never really the hardest part, I don't think. The subtracting is where it can get a little bit more messed up. So now that you have practiced expressing some of these numbers with tiles and you've seen some of the adding, what we're going to do now is you're going to try a few with the people next to you. Unless you're watching this at home, then you can try a few yourself. But either way, try doing these. Make sure you have a picture to represent it, and make sure that it's easy to follow. Let's try +3 plus -6, and let's try -4 plus +5. So try that out with the person next to you, see how it goes. Pause this video while you do it, and then after you think you've given it a shot, hit play and I'll show you what I was doing. So I awkwardly waited while it was quiet for a few seconds, assuming that you guys had tried it and paused it, and now let's take a look at the steps I would follow to do it. So the very first step I would use is to look at these numbers here and represent them first. Then I'll worry about adding, subtracting, whatever. So I have 3, and they're positive. Oops, sorry. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm adding on 6 negatives. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After I've represented, so kind of keep a list here. Representing's done. Now I'm going to look for the 0 pairs. Are there any 0 pairs? There are. 1, 2, 3. 0 pairs are out of the way. So that part's done. Now I just count whatever's left over. Okay? So, what's left over? I have 1, 2, 3 of those, but those are negative ones. What's 3 negative ones? It's going to be negative 3. So that's my answer. Plus 3 plus negative 6. Sorry, I shouldn't say plus 3. Positive 3 plus negative 6 is negative 3. And again, some of you will piece together or remember that adding a negative is a lot like subtracting. It's a lot like 3 minus 6. But again, you do not need to be there at this point in time. And I don't want you skipping steps to jump right there. It's good you already know the answer when you start. But right now we're really focusing on representing and on communicating. And you can, of course, use tiles right in front of you on your desk if it helps you. You can even whip the tiles out during the test and use those then, too. It's a great way to practice this. It's a great way to use it, but the drawings help, too, to really show what you were thinking. The next one. Negative 4, positive 5. Remember that first step. First step is going to be representing them with those pictures so we can see what we were thinking. Negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. Positive 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next step is going to be 0 pairs. Anything that matches, you're going to put them together. This happens when you're adding, of course. Then, just count what's left over. What's left over, there's a single positive 1 left over. So that's what I was thinking when I did this. Hopefully you guys are thinking the same thing. And this video will help you during your homework there.